Saka takuti imi mapofu vang'ava vakange vasina kuona mukavhotera kabishopa muprofita wedhemao anozvigadza moto oramba kubvira wacho, anozvigadza shiri dzoramba dzodzokera mapodhiamu akambozvidzwa kupezvo. Ndo zvinotaurwa naJehovha kuti hatidi kutamba nezita raJehovha tichisvika pakadaro. Chenge chitiwo zvakare pakunamata kwedu ngatinamate takaswatanuka. Ngatirege kukangamwa zvakaitika kunana Noa, zvakaitika kuSodhomu neGomora. Zvinotaurwa naMathew chapter 24 yake kuti chenjererai mazuva ekupedzisira kuchauya vaprofita vakawanda. Vene achikutaura akagona kusungwa kuti muti uyu endapo chienda kuti Satanika haana kutorerwa masepaisi, anawo ekufamba. Saka ngatingwarirei koiwo muno mazuva maprofita kusvikira pakadai kana mubhaibheri hatinagosvidzwa zvakadai. Kwaipeta muprofita mwechite vaviri panguva. Ko ava vamwe vanenge vakazesa madhirama apa kuti iri $3, iri $2, ndozvakarehwa izvozvo. So munotorerei mari yevanhu muchishandisa zita raMwari, wotorera mbombo kuti ngabvise chegumi asiye kumba nenzara. Oenda kumbabva hana chekudhadza. Hurumende yaMnangagwa yakaipa sei vaMnangagwa kuti kuyai tisenze tisumudzire nyika. Pamberi nekushanda, pamberi nekutedza gwaro rakanaka, pasine mano. Saka ngatiite madzimambo, masabhuku, vanababa nanamai, ngatidzarisei pfungwa tione kuti tiri kuenda kupi, takabva kupi.
Let me set the scene for you first, because you need to understand exactly what has been happening before we get into the real fire. For the past few weeks, Zimbabwe has been consumed by one piece of legislation. It is called CAB3, short for the Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment number 3. This is not just some small legal update. This bill changes how Zimbabwe chooses its president. Instead of the people voting directly for the president, the new system moves that power into the hands of Parliament through a joint sitting of the National Assembly and the Senate. On top of that, it stretches the term of office for the president, for members of Parliament, and for local councillors from 5 years all the way to 7 years. And here is the part that has everyone talking in every corner of the country. This extension applies to the current term as well. That means the general election that Zimbabweans were expecting in 2028 has now been legally pushed all the way to 2030. President Emmerson Mnangagwa and the current members of Parliament simply stay in their seats for 2 extra years without anyone going back to vote. Now let me walk you through how fast this actually moved, because the speed alone tells you a story. On the 18th of June 2026, the National Assembly passed the bill by 216 votes to 42. Just 6 days later, on the 24th of June, the Senate passed it too, 75 votes to 4, but they added 6 amendments of their own. Then, on the 30th of June, President Mnangagwa recalled Parliament from recess for a special sitting, and lawmakers formally adopted those Senate amendments by 226 votes to 41. Then, on the 7th of July 2026, Mnangagwa signed CAB3 into law. Just like that, in under 3 weeks, the entire electoral map of Zimbabwe was redrawn. But here is where it gets interesting for you, because while all of this was happening in Parliament, something else was happening quietly, and it involves our vice president. In the weeks leading up to the signing, Chiwenga started making public remarks that nobody could quite pin down. He was speaking in what people are calling a cryptic, almost biblical style. He referenced the story of Hezekiah, a king from the Bible who was warned about the limits of his power and what happens to a leader who overreaches. Chiwenga never came out and said this was about CAB3 directly. He never mentioned the bill by name in those remarks. But political analysts across the country immediately connected the dots because the timing was just too perfect to ignore. Now think about that for a second. Two of the most watched political figures in Zimbabwe, trading what looks like indirect shots at each other, neither one confirming exactly what they meant, and the entire country left to read between the lines. A political analyst named Rashwet Mukundu weighed in on this, describing it as political banter. Chamisa mocking the chaos and the divisions inside ZANU PF over CAB3, sending a message that their time in the fire would come. Before I go any further, if you are new here, tap that subscribe button right now because this story is moving fast and I do not want you to miss where it goes next. And if you already follow this channel, smash that like button for me. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need to hear this. Now let me take you deeper because the Chiwenga and Chamisa back and forth is only the surface. Underneath it is something much bigger, a real power struggle that has been building inside ZANU PF itself, and it is starting to spill out into the open in a way we have not seen in years. You're not going to believe how deep this goes. But before I continue, let me pause right here. Now let me take you back, because to understand why Chiwenga's cryptic remarks mattered so much, you need to understand what has been brewing inside ZANU PF for a very long time. This did not start with CAB3. This goes back years. Chiwenga and Mnangagwa were once partners. Back in 2017, the two of them stood side by side when the military moved against Robert Mugabe and brought Mnangagwa into power. Chiwenga was seen as the man who made that transition possible, the general who backed Mnangagwa when it mattered most. For years after that, many Zimbabweans and many people inside the party itself believed Chiwenga was next in line. The understanding, whether official or not, was that when Mnangagwa's time was done, Chiwenga would take over. But something changed along the way. The relationship between these two men, the same two men who once stood together against Mugabe, has reportedly turned into something filled with suspicion. Back in October 2025, a leaked memo surfaced that many people believed was written by Chiwenga himself. That memo accused the president of repeating Mugabe's own mistakes and of protecting corrupt business interests around him.